Welcome to the Road to Wembley, the visual story of how Manchester United reached the final of the 1994 FA Challenge Cup, the most prestigious cup competition anywhere in the world. Under the guidance of Alex Ferguson, United have proved themselves the team to beat all season. They make a 12th FA Cup final appearance to equal the record of Arsenal. The story begins at Bramall Lane with John Motson.
And the FA Cup third round match starts with Sheffield United in the stripes, playing from left to right, and Manchester United wearing the hard shirts of yellow and green, which in fact they wore here last season, and it wasn't particularly lucky for them anyway. We'll see what happens today. There's Kamara with a stinging tackle early on, and Hodges now, and it does look as if Flew is going to be the only man up front, the number 12, bandaged wrist, and the others to come from midfield. This is Giggs. Cantona, Keane in support here. Roy Keane. Hughes! And the break's on, possibly for Ward. It's Flew on the far side, but the pass isn't good enough.
It was definitely Manchester's best attack, and it originated right by Giggs getting the ball wide, and that's what I think they've got to use, either Giggs or Kanchelskis, but he gave them a bit of width, made progress, and they played the ball then in through the middle, and it was Keane who nearly got in eventually.
Look at that from Cantona. Kanchelskis, Hughes, it's square. Great chance, but the pass a little bit ahead of him. Giggs is in position too here, still Hughes.
There's that man, he hasn't really had a chance or a yard or two of space, and suddenly conjured up a magnificent slide rule pass. Look at that, taking three defenders out. And if Kanchelskis' ball just been a bit softer, Hughes would have got in on it. Couldn't quite retrieve it then, and Sheffield managed to scramble it away. Two good attacks from Manchester now.
In comes Ward here, volleyed away by Pallister. Now Manchester United 3 on 3, 4 on 4. Cantona, good running from the midfield by Giggs. Still Giggs. Can he find Hughes? No. The pass out is poor though. Kanchelskis.
We just saw a glimmer there, the danger if Sheffield haven't attacked themselves and it breaks down, because Manchester suddenly found that they had an even number of attackers against defenders.
Oh, and a mistake there, and a chance for Kamara, and did he get brought down by Schmeichel? Apparently not. Referee Ashby points for a corner. Chris Kamara felt it should have been a penalty. Flew has a word with the referee as well, Trevor Brooking.
There's a terrible mix-up. He just gets the touch to it, and quite frankly I think Chris Kamara was already on his way down and sort of fell into Schmeichel more than anything. I think a younger player who perhaps other than Kamara would have gone round the goalkeeper. I think he was so tired at the end of it.
Here comes Flew! Oh, off the line! Dennis Irwin! Sheffield United really going for it here. Coming up to half-time. Hoyland's on the line, Beasley and Tuttle waiting to come in too. And this time Schmeichel holds it and then collides with Beasley on the edge of the area, while the Sheffield contingent still debate the calls for a penalty. I've got to say I agree entirely with the co-commentator. He was already on his way down. Here's Parker. And there goes Ince. And he certainly He was certainly on his way down, and it's going to be a goal kick. The referee refusing to be influenced, you could say. Parker, Hughes, Cantona, that's lofted towards Ryan Giggs, and he's in! This is Giggs for United! Good save, Kelly. Giggs went for the near side of the goal. Bradshaw caught out, but turned round to see the goalkeeper save from Giggs.
I think this is a situation where Ryan Giggs is either to look square or think about now and again coming in on his right foot, because he gave himself a poor shooting angle by keeping it on his left.
That was from Pallister. There was no danger of that threatening Kelly. Well, Bradshaw really was in a one-against-one there. Cantona lofted the pass, didn't he? And Giggs got in. But Alan Kelly gets the credit for making the save and keeping the score at half-time down to 0-0. There were one or two moments at either end, but Kelly, on the stroke of the half-time whistle, keeps Sheffield United in the fight. Pallister forward for Manchester United. There are no subs on, by the way. McClare and Robson are the Manchester United replacements if needed, and Nielsen and Scott for Sheffield United, but as yet no sign of them. Manchester United's FA Cup pedigree well chronicled. Here's Pallister. Irwin. Ince. Hughes comes a little bit deeper. Kanchelskis takes up the central position. This is Keane. They're still moving around up front. Parker into Hughes. Looking for space that they just can't find at the moment. Parker. Oh, what a beautiful goal! Count the passes! And then the finish.
Well, you mentioned the contrast in styles, and, you know, if we've got any chance in international football, this has to be the way to score goals. A magnificent move, so many touches, and the movement, the running off the ball. Ince and Hughes in the end conjured this up. Ince into Hughes, there he is, he's going to play another one too. And Kelly got a touch, was unlucky not to make the save, but it was a wonderful goal.
So, Mark Hughes returns in style after his injury. It hit the post. Cantona would have put it in if it had come out, I think, anyway. And Manchester United take the lead with a movement which really didn't belong to a game like this. Tuttle. Away, I would have thought there would have been the shout, but Schmeichel picked it up virtually from between Parker's feet. This is Kanchelskis now, taking on Gage. Hughes and Giggs are in the middle. The Cantona's there as well. Oh! Just failed to make contact, the Frenchman. Well, a marvellous cross from Kanchelskis. I think Cantona was surprised at the pace of it. I thought he would have headed it, diving header, but he just went beyond it before he lifted his leg up, and I thought Kanchelskis did marvellous there, because he took Schmeichel's throw on the run, got away from Gage, whipped in the perfect cross. Kanchelskis, Parker again. Kanchelskis, Hughes in the middle. Kanchelskis pulls it back for Ince, and here's Giggs! What a great save by Alan Kelly. Well, that would have been 2-0 and all over.
Kanchelskis again, he's had a good second half, good pull back, great strike, great save.
So it's a corner on the far side. Bruce has come up for it. Back again with Giggs. And Cantona's there, and the flag's up on this side. Referee may not have seen it yet, in fact he hasn't seen it. And it's still in the sense now it won't matter, because I think it was for an offside, and there's going to be a free kick anyway.
The referee probably wonders what the crowd are all shouting at him. He's thinking, well, I've given the free kick anyway, not realising that the linesman's flag had been waving for about 20 seconds before.
Just about 3 minutes to go, and offside now at the other end. Manchester United 3 minutes away from a place in the fourth round draw, which will be coming up from Lancaster Gate as soon as this match is over. His team look at this stage as though they're going to be in it. Hughes starts to make a run now. Giggs is on that side as well. Header by Gage. Hughes. Oh, he's had a kick there. Now Hughes was blocked in the first half.
Well, he's got to go off. Mark Hughes has got to go off.
Here for Mark Hughes. He had a kick there at David Tuttle, and having already been booked, he's off with a red card. Mark Hughes sent off on his return. The scorer of the goal gets the red card with less than 3 minutes to go, but he was booked in the first half after allegedly leaving a foot on Kamara. The referee went back and booked him when the play stopped, and now Alex Ferguson's goal scorer, possible match winner, goes off for a second offence. Trevor Brooking.
Well, they've had a tussle all afternoon. I mean, whether it was that tackle, about 10 or 15 minutes ago when I said Tuttle came through Hughes, but that is a dreadful kick. I mean, there's no excuse for just because the ball is a couple of yards away. Mark Hughes, I mean, the referee showed it as a second yellow card, but I think it was possibly worth a red card just in its own, and he'll know he shouldn't have allowed his frustrations to get to the stage where you just have a wild kick like that.
You have the feeling, really, that Manchester United should have locked this game up more emphatically than they appear to have done. Here's Gage. Oh, he's missed it, Schmeichel! What on earth is happening in there? Whitehouse. Beasley. Beasley's cross, disappointing, but there was a moment there where Schmeichel and the defenders, they're still arguing about it. There was either a lack of communication, but here it comes.
Well, it was a great cross from Gage, put in at pace, and he's gone with his feet instead. He didn't fancy going with his head, I don't think, and very relieved, I'm sure, to see it go right across the face of the goal. Possibly, I think, Sheffield's last chance.
Well, we're in the 4th minute of stoppage time, and Manchester United do indeed go through to the 4th round, courtesy of a goal that will go down in FA Cup history. A quite phenomenal movement, which brought the match really out of a bit of a trough and made it a very exciting one in the last few minutes. Mark Hughes, the goal scorer, sent off, but Alex Ferguson, looking round angrily, can blame Kelly, the goalkeeper, for saving 2 or 3 other efforts which could have made the victory more emphatic. But when it all dies down, it's Sheffield United 0, Manchester United 1.
United were drawn away again in round 4, and again it was Premiership opposition. Carrow Road the venue this time, Norwich City the opponents. Commentary from Barry Davis.
Pitch looks a little softer and has had rather more wear than we were when we were here for the European competition. And it says something, I think, of Norwich City that their players are now as familiar as those of Manchester United as a result of that fine attempt in European competition for the first time. Up by Newman. Giggs, first run. Cantona out on the left flank. That's looking for Kanchelskis on the right. Keane, goal! Suddenly there was so much space, and Roy Keane gets his first since November, and nothing that Brian Gunn could do about it. Giggs, who started, had Cantona to his left, found Kanchelskis, whose first touch wasn't great. In came Keane and into the corner. May have got a slight deflection off the defender.
Magnificent break by Giggs. I mean, that was United, what they've been about all season, the counter-attack, and 3 or 4 men eventually got in the 18-yard box. Kanchelskis knocked it back to Keane, and suddenly, from being on the defensive, they've gone 1-up.
Kanchelskis, still, and still, off the bar.
His blistering pace just destroyed 3 defenders there. Actually, Culverhouse went for the tackle, clipped him, and he did very well to stand on his feet, and he thought he was going to score, hit the woodwork, and a second goal then could have been a desperate one for Norwich.
Kanchelskis, still Manchester United, a notch up. Oh, and there might well have been 2 goals up. Giggs on the end of the cross.
Well, he's scintillating today, isn't he? His pace and acceleration, he's whipping in some excellent crosses. That was a perfect one. Ryan Giggs just perhaps getting beyond the near post and couldn't quite get it on target, but I mean, he just using his acceleration to get away from Colin Woodthorpe, and Ryan Giggs just couldn't quite divert it on target. But at the moment, I mean, it's almost an action replay of the first half, and you feel a second goal is inevitable unless Norwich in some way do change it. And Cuckoo and his exercising his legs in the far corner, the top end of the pitch, and probably just waiting for a signal, but I would have thought sooner rather than later.
That was an observation made during the course of the first half. Pallister's header. Crookenitz. Still in. Newman. Bit of time for John Polston. Had no change at all, Chris Sutton. Owen. Free kick is given. Crook helps Ince to his feet. Smooth as silk. Corner.
I've got a feeling we might see an action replay of that one. That was him at his very best, wasn't it? His balance, twisting and turning, running at a defender, which I'm sure is any defender's nightmare.
And that young man was off his seat watching. That's what's so good about it. Bruce trying to get there. Difficult for Megson, but he gets the clearance in. Kanchelskis. Cantona wants it in the middle. Won by Keane. Crook again. Bowen. All back by Kanchelskis. Bowen. Megson. Bowen. Keane not taking any chances, and Schmeichel is furious about that. One or two encouraging signs for Norwich City. Megson. Parker. We've had 2/3 of the match. And for the first time, Norwich City are asking just a few questions. Goss. Better strike. Great stop. And wide. The second 2 from Polston. It's still in play. They're queuing up. And Parker does well. I don't want to labour the point, but if you added a Coco to all this, might it not make that bit of difference? Bowen. Tremendous couple of blocks by Peter Schmeichel. He was really lifted by the annoyance of Keane taking the ball away. There was the first save, which knocked it out to Polston coming in. Look how he's poised. Blocks it as it's aimed straight for his nose. And the follow-up, Polston comes off the side of the boot and wide. Goss won't get there. They've got to make anything of it. Crook. It's a bit strong, but Bowen plays it in early. Woodthorpe. Sutton is underneath it. Fox. Goss! Well, we're not lacking entertainment now.
That's a completely different match, isn't it? There's so many more numbers in there now. Look, Colin Woodthorpe had been marooned in defence all afternoon, suddenly hooked that one. It scrambles, and if you see as it comes back here, it just won't come down early enough. It sits up and Goss gets in position, but he can't get over the ball. Can see the defenders coming in and hooks it over the top.
Cantona given the present and scores, and Rob Newman goes down in despair. He's hardly been in the match, the Frenchman, but his goal has surely won it for Manchester United. Gift did well with the nod down, and as Gunn came to meet him, he found the hole.
Well, he's a crestfallen defender, isn't he? Because trying to knock it to Culverhouse at the right back, and I thought he just knocked it too far. Cantona kept his head and his touch superbly, didn't he, to finish off. Probably the last person you wanted to give the ball to in those situations. They got away with a couple, didn't they? Kanchelskis and Hughes just before that, but it was third time lucky for United.
Durkin has one look at the watch on his wrist, and one look is sufficient. Eric Cantona with the killer goal, although some would argue that he should have long since left the pitch after Roy Keane had given Manchester United a 19th minute lead. But in the second half, with a tactical change, Norwich City did very, very much better and was certainly threatening when Rob Newman's error enabled Cantona to put the game beyond the home side's reach. And who awaits next in the draw for Manchester United?
The answer was Wimbledon, the club that's built a formidable reputation for upsetting the plans of the big boys. Could United again prove good travellers? Clive Tildesley, the commentator.
Nothing surprises me anymore with modern football kits. It's Wimbledon in United red, and United in the club's original colours, in actual fact, the yellow and green halves. The players told of the rewarding home draw awaiting the winners in round 6 just before leaving the dressing room. Paul Ince, run off the ball by Earl, it's fallen for Hughes. Oh! Almost a goal in 25 seconds, and only the alertness of Hans Segers denied Mark Hughes. A roaring start by Manchester United. A mix-up almost letting Hughes in. Hughes, Keane. Could go all the way here, Roy Keane. Challenged by Elkins, got a foot on the ball. Roy Keane just seemed to be losing his balance as he set himself for the shot. It was a courageous tackle by Elkins, but it was a fair one. Now Fashionu's been penalised for a little dig at Bruce. But that was a clear opening for Roy Keane, created for him by Mark Hughes. And Elkins coming across from a difficult side, definitely got the ball. Keane just seemed to be starting to tumble, his strides were lengthening there. David Ellery was up with the play. Pallister. Irwin. Pallister to Ince. Giggs coming deeper in search of the ball. In towards Cantona, it almost reached him. Squeezed back, came off Segers, fell behind Hughes. Important intervention that was by Warren Barton. Steve Bruce. And that patient approach from Manchester United almost paid off. They waited their moment to try to play a killer ball. There was a mix-up there, it ran away from Elkins, Keane got it back, and Segers' touch, though unconventional, in combination with Barton, got the job done. Jones. Away by Parker. Elkins. Wimbledon throw. They're tossing possession away. Need to get a foothold in the game again. Beautifully. Simply the best. There are 2 minutes of the first half remaining and it has just been lit up. The control was wonderful. The volley out of this world. Hans Segers didn't have a prayer. Number 18 of the season for Eric Cantona. Manchester United are in the lead again. Cantona in pursuit. Seen off by Barton this time, but it's falling for Giggs. There are 4 in the United attack. It's Ryan Giggs brought down by Fitzgerald. Wimbledon have got no answer at the moment. And there wasn't much beyond Scott Fitzgerald if Giggs had got past him. Just how much there was is what David Ellery has now got to weigh up in his mind. If he believes that Ryan Giggs was denied a clear goal-scoring opportunity there, Fitzgerald's got to go. It's yellow. Strictly speaking, Giggs was starting to veer away from goal. But Fitzgerald's a lucky lad. A minute and a half of stoppage time play. Manchester United still have the men to punish Wimbledon. 3 is Irwin. Giggs speaking to him. Cantona is unmarked there on the left-hand side, but it's Ince. Not exactly short of options. Ince just dragged it a little bit. Scored on each of his last 2 visits to Selhurst Park. That crucial win over Crystal Palace in April, which just about slammed the championship doors shut in Aston Villa's face. A big championship celebration here against Wimbledon at the end of last season, and maybe tonight a step along the road to Wembley thanks to the brilliance of Eric Cantona. This is the 42nd game of Manchester United's season. They've got at very least 15 more to play, 16 if they win this. they've barely delved into the depth of their squad as yet. And they're picking up where they left off. Kanchelskis, clearance by Barton. It's 5 months since anybody beat them, and 5 weeks since anybody even held them. Wimbledon did that for 43 minutes tonight. Parker, too close to Sagers. But they've signalled their intentions again, straight from the off. Giggs. I'm sure that Cantona needed to get a touch there. Kanchelskis was closing in behind him. Keane just tossed forward into the path of Giggs. It's set up beautifully for him. Oh! Well, he had some luck and then it ran out. Hughes. Fitzgerald and eventually Jones with an important tackle. That could have been curtains for Wimbledon. Vinnie Jones who got the final foot in. But it was the post that was the saviour for Wimbledon. And Ryan Giggs, who was favoured initially by the bounce, which made it awkward for Warren Barton. But then it just bounced off Sager's knees and bounced off the post. And not much that either really knew about it. He looked like a condemned man there for a moment, Hans Sagers. He was backpedaling. Irwin. Fullback has gone on ahead of Giggs. Kanchelskis. Cantona. Parker is forward too. It's in towards Hughes. Oh! And Sagers just touched that onto the bar. Well, Mark Hughes was the man denied by Hans Sagers, but both of the Manchester United fullbacks were forward in that attack. Sitting on a 1-goal lead, not a bit of it. They just keep coming at you. Bruce and Pallister are both in there. Oh, it's in! And it's 2. Sagers and all of Wimbledon know that that could be that. Paul Ince, the goal scorer, his 3rd straight match at Selhurst Park as a goal scorer, and he just sneaked in amongst all the big boys, unseen, tiptoed in there and glanced the ball beyond Sagers, and Manchester United have doubled their money and are still firmly on the road to Wembley. Only really Kanchelskis in this fray. Hughes and Parker getting there, and Giggs. Here is Parker. Now Keane. Now Ince. Cantona. Giggs. A little bit of matador football for a change. Keep ball. Ince into Irwin. Still Irwin. Oh! Wonderful football from a wonderful football team. They all but walked it in. Dennis Irwin, the goal scorer. Paul Ince, the provider. And Wimbledon just torn apart. And even if you keep the strikers at bay, even if you keep the midfield players at bay, and somebody like Dennis Irwin pops up, and it's 3-0. Kanchelskis, Parker, Keane. Dublin, Keane, McClare, got away from fear, he's got 2 in support, oh! Almost deflected into his own goal by Warren Barton. Little change of gear there by Manchester United. McClare suddenly in the clear. Giggs. Dublin. Ince held up by Barton. They've won again. They're still on for that treble chance jackpot. And the impossible is looking more and more possible for Alex Ferguson's team. And you just wonder where it's all going to end for Manchester United. Right now, the likely answer to that question is Wembley Stadium in May.
At last, a home draw in round 6, and United at last meeting a side from outside the Premiership. But Charlton Athletic travelled hopefully. They were going superbly in Division 1 and had already created one cup sensation by winning at Blackburn. In every sense, this was a dramatic cup tie, witnessed by John Motson.
And Manchester United, having played for less than a minute with 10 men, have taken the lead. From the corner, John Vaughan, first off from Hughes, made a fantastic save, but Hughes lashed the rebound in, and Charlton concede only their second goal of the FA Cup, and the 10 men have taken the lead. You can't take your eyes off this game for a second. There's something happening all the time. It's Kanchelskis now. Giggs to his left, so is Cantona. Can he pick one of them out? Should he pick one of them out? No, he shouldn't. Kanchelskis makes it 2-0. It came off the goalkeeper, but it may well have put Manchester United into the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Giggs and Cantona, who were both available, go to congratulate the man who went alone. Look at them over on the far side there. They think they're in for a pass across the face of the goal, but Kanchelskis has other ideas. He has room outside the defender, and the goalkeeper perhaps won't be too thrilled with the way it came off him. But with 19 minutes to go, Kanchelskis may have put this 6th round FA Cup tie out of the reach of Ensley League Charlton Athletic. It will take a storming comeback now to turn this round, even though Charlton have an extra man. Ince has had some match. Cantona and Giggs are there again. And Kanchelskis through the middle, onside, put there by Giggs. And Kanchelskis goes around John Vaughan, and it's 3-0, and it's all over now. And the Russian World Cup player scores his second goal of the afternoon. And all round the ground, they applaud, apart from John Vaughan perhaps, Kanchelskis. Giggs put him through with a peach of a pass. That is such a good ball. You wouldn't mind seeing it over and over again. A defender tried to pull him back, but Kanchelskis was too strong. The flag was down, he was onside, Vaughan came, but that's a pacey piece of play by the man who came from the Soviet Union and has delighted Old Trafford. Robson, good run, flipped on, and the header by Lieberman, it's in! They have come back. Seeley beaten. And Carl Lieberman gives the Charlton hordes at the other end something to cheer about.
But that was all that the Charlton fans had to celebrate. Mark Hughes' strike and a double by Kanchelskis, enough to overcome the loss of Peter Schmeichel. It meant another trip to Wembley, United hoping for a better result than when they met Aston Villa in the League Cup final. This time a Lancashire derby against a team that loves to attack, Oldham Athletic. John Motson, the commentator, once more.
Irwin. Hughes! Oh, what a fabulous save by John Hallward. Magnificent. Mark Hughes' header. Irwin's cross. Hughes got power, and Hallward was going the wrong way. He stuck out his right arm. Fine save. Pointing forward. And Schmeichel didn't get that. Poynton! And Oldham scored! Neil Poynton got in there, and Schmeichel's made a bad mistake. And Joe Royal's team are in front. Andy Ritchie, go back and sit down, I think.
Yeah, he's putting his tracksuit on again because there's no way Joe Royal would change it. They hadn't looked dangerous, had they? And then this is whipped in. It's a good cross. Michael comes, loses it, and points and hooks it in.
It's only a minute to go. It's come to Lee Sharp. Milligan has to get the head on this. Beckford is needed. He wasn't there. It's hooked back in for Hughes. It's there! They didn't get the ball away, Oldham. And Manchester United have saved it in the last minute. Extraordinary stuff. It wasn't cleared properly. And look at Mark Hughes, the volleying specialist. But he's never left it as late as that. And he rescues Manchester United with a brilliant strike round Fleming. And it's 1-1, Trevor.
Well, a quite magnificent volley. I mean, you know, look at that. He's at full stretch to control the volley. It was no more than a half chance. Fantastic character from United, but Hughes in particular, who's had such a physical battle, hasn't he? It was Fleming in the end who was left with him, but I don't think even he could anticipate that he could control a volley at full stretch like that. Gave Hallworth no chance, and a wonderful equaliser.
And here comes Ince. He's got Giggs outside him. Didn't play it when he should have done. Well, if the first 90 minutes was pretty dull, the extra time has more than made up for it. Manchester United, as I said, have a spirit about them which has many times enabled them to rise from difficult situations and still come out on top. And the Oldham fans silenced into submission. There it is. It's a replay. Joe Royal big enough to smile. And nothing has gone according to plan in the FA Cup this season. The two Lancashire rivals have finished level after extra time. A magnificent goal by Hughes forces the replay.
And back to Maine Road. Oldham had been surprised by United's fight back, but maybe United had expected something like that.
Manchester United relieved, but not totally surprised, because Alex Ferguson had seen Mark Hughes strike an identical goal 3 days earlier in training. Keane, Kanchelskis. Rob's starting again for the first time for 3 months. It's Irwin. Now it's... They've got plenty of players back. Milligan was one of them. Ince took him on and got past him, plays it wide for Kanchelskis. Ross was a bit behind those lining up in the centre wearing red. Robson. And in it goes from Dennis Irwin. The former Oldham player has scored here in the 10th minute. And Manchester United have struck early in the replay.
And it's all down to the awareness of Irwin and Robson. He plays it, Rick Holden's caught. He's a yard short and getting back with Irwin. Robson just rolls it into his path, takes it on his chest, and the rest is through. Look at Rick Holden. Fatally, he allows Dennis Irwin a yard. And I don't care if he's a full-back, Dennis Irwin. He's got the quality to stick those away, and he did it very well.
Ince, who has heard good news since the weekend that he won't have a one-match suspension after that booking at Wembley. Kanchelskis. Oh, has he seen a hole he can move into to go for goal? How about that? He was going across the face of the penalty area till he saw some space. He found it, and he found a shot that makes it 2-0.
Well, normally you're saying, go on son, across you go, across you go. But the one person just making the right back makes a mistake, in my opinion, Martin, as he shows him too much of a gap. He's not tucked in near enough. He's too far out the way. That invited the shot. And to be honest, Kanchelskis, he won't hit many with his left foot better than that. He really won't. What a dream start for Alex Ferguson's side.
Manchester lad Chris Macon in his first season in the Oldham side. Beckford. Oldham. Sharp. Oh, Pallister was waving everything at that, including an arm. Real scrum in there. Comes for Holden. He thinks it should be a corner, or maybe they're just going back to the earlier Pallister problem.
I think they're looking at handball on 2 counts. That's a great block from Steve Bruce. So there was an example of a defender dying for the cause. It was that. He threw himself right at it, but it kind of breaks up there. I think they'll claim it for a handball offence. Then Pallister, but it broke to Holden, and he chokes his shot a little bit across goal.
Pallister's header only goes to Sharp. He's trying to just thread the ball across for Rick Holden. Brian Robson had read the danger signs, but the back pass ruled to have crossed the goal line. It's a corner.
Well, he'll take a bad back pass there, Martin, because of what he did beforehand. And you can see he's just trying to roll it back, and just a little bit too comfortable probably, Brian, but it was very important. He was back in his own box here as Sharp tried to release Rick Holden.
Holden needs something, and Poynton has given it to them. Neil Poynton again, 5 minutes before half-time. 2-1.
And what a big goal this might prove to be. In all honesty, since 2-0, Martin have done very well. And the man who scored such a precious goal on Sunday is there again at the edge of the 6-yard box, looking for anything that drops down. And this time he only needs a touch, because the goalkeeper's committed himself to diving for it. And only the slightest touch is needed here from Neil Poynton as it drops down there. Beckford's the one who manages to keep it in. And the left boot of Poynton stretches out. That's all that's needed to get Oldham back into this game.
Parker. Kanchelskis. Keane. Important, vital, crucial for Oldham not to concede a goal here. They're at half-time in much better shape than they would have imagined after Dennis Irwin, their old pal, had given them the lead, and Andrei Kanchelskis had struck a super second. But Neil Poynton again, just as he did at Wembley, popping up with a vital goal. Prepare to start the second half against the side just looking to get into the final for the first time in their 99-year history. Manchester United come again. Signs that they're recapturing the rhythm of the first half. Making misjudges. Giggs makes a better angle for himself, and Hallworth hangs on.
Well, when you see him hit them like that on his right foot, it just makes you wonder why he didn't do that in the first half when that chance presented itself on his right side. Macon wants it to go left, dummies inside, and he really hits this very well indeed. But credit the goalkeeper, got everything behind it.
Robson tries again. Parker. Corner conceded by Fleming.
I think that's part of the reason Ryan Giggs has been in the game so little, Mark, is that right side has been so fruitful for them going forward. Rick Holden offers them some defensive possibilities on this near side, and perhaps that's why Ryan Giggs isn't seeing as much of the ball as Paul Parker and Andrew Kanchelskis.
Giggs with an involvement in taking the corners from the right with his left foot. Oh, Hallworth missed it! Robson! The net was vacant, and it's 3-1. Hallworth absolutely devastated by it. Robson thrilled, and so are those on the Manchester United bench.
Well, it's Robson of all. Look at the goalkeeper. Into no man's land, gets nowhere near it. And there's an example. You don't have to get a nice crisp volley, you don't have to get a nice crisp header. Just get anything you want on it. You can't get by Mark Hughes. He stands his ground. He's entitled to do that. Watch it closely. Hughes, the goalkeeper comes out. Hughes stands his ground, but he gets nowhere near it. and that's the present. That's all you can say.
Giggs, found by Kanchelskis. Ryan Giggs going his own way, gets a second chance! 4-1!
Well, you feel for the defender, don't you? If things aren't bad enough, breaks aren't going your way. He thinks he's done his job. He blocks the first shot, and what happens? Jobson comes across, he thinks, I'll hold him up, I've done the job. But no, Giggs was alive and alert, and it really is all over for Oldham now.
Manchester United can make their plans for May the 14th. Drilled in by Giggs. It's a Manchester United-Chelsea FA Cup final. All credit to Alex Ferguson for his team selection. He plumped for Brian Robson, who scored a critical third goal in this 4-1 win. John Hallworth will feel the pain of the way that third goal for United tonight went in. But really, United perhaps shouldn't have been given the second chance. That's what Oldham will think. The closest of shaves for them on Sunday. Oldham ever haunted now by that Mark Hughes equaliser at Wembley, unable to make club history.
So United have made it back to Wembley, and they haven't had it easy. 3 away games against Premiership opposition, all won at the first time of asking, and in total just 3 goals conceded. They'll meet Chelsea in a North-South final. It could be a classic.